Hello and good evening, everybody. And tonight what I want to do is I want to continue the countdown for my top 50 all-time musical artists. And this will be the fourth time I have approached this subject, and I have already revealed my 50 through 21 picks. And so tonight I am going to reveal my 20 through 11 picks. So we're really starting to get down there. And really, guys, from this point on, every single artist I'm about to talk about, I really, really love. Like, I pretty much got their entire discography. I pretty much know the majority of the band's history. And if any of these guys who are still around are coming anywhere near me, I'm pretty much going to go see them. Except for maybe a couple who may have, kind of lost the spark that made them very popular. But putting all that aside, regardless, either way, I really love these artists that I'm about to talk about. But before I get to that, I want to recap once again where we left off. So I'm going to go ahead and show you once again my 50 through 21 picks, just in case you missed those episodes. Anyways, zooming in here a little bit, 50 was Sabotage. 49 was Angel Witch. 48, Bon Jovi. 47, Foreigner. 46, Triumph. 45th, Lucifer's Friend. 44th, Manowar. 43rd, Raven. 42, Poison. 41, The Who. 40th is the Sammy Hagar solo career. 39th was Ted Nugent. 38th, Journey. 37, The Rolling Stones. 36, The Vinnie Vincent Invasion. 35, Motorhead. 34, Yes. 33, Diamond Head. 32, UFO. 31, Megadeth. 30th, Budgie. 29, Uriah Heep. 28, Styx. 27, Quiet Riot. 26, Rainbow. 25, Queen. 24, Pink Floyd. 23, Def Leppard. 22, Blue Oyster Cult. And 21, Aerosmith. Now, just another quick reminder, once again, this is completely my subjective opinion. I realize that I may rank some artists kind of low that had a very profound impact on music as a whole throughout their tenure. I understand that. And I may put some kind of cheesy bands ahead of them. I get that, okay? I get that some artists are more successful and more influential than others. This is strictly my subjective opinion and what I would rather listen to above other artists. So now we got that out of the way. If you want to post your rankings, feel free to in the comments section. I highly encourage that. Just keep it civil. And if you think someone that I ranked rather low deserves to be higher, feel free to share your opinion. But again, this is all based off my opinion and not on their impact on the music industry. So anyways, in the last episode that I did on this, there was an artist called Rainbow that I talked about who essentially was a band that broke off from the fiery ashes of the remnants of Deep Purple. Well, there is another one that I want to talk about, and this is going to be 20th place. I've talked about them quite a lot on this channel, and that, of course, is Whitesnake. And I find them very synonymous with Rainbow in the sense, like I said, they formed after Deep Purple kind of dissolved away, and various bandmates that were in Deep Purple came back together, formed a new band. And anyways, this one was led by David Coverdale, who appeared on the Burn, Stormbringer, and Come Taste the Band albums, while Rainbow was formed by Ritchie Blackmore. And these right here are two of the top albums by Whitesnake. We have Slide It In, and we have the self-titled album. But that doesn't mean what came before it wasn't bad at all. I mean, of course, we had the Snakebite EP. We had Trouble. We had Love Hunter, which I have reviewed before. We had Ready and Willing. We had Come and Get It. We had Saints and Sinners. And now Slide It In was their 6th album, 7th total release. And the self-titled album from 1987 was their 7th album, 8th if you're counting Snakebite. But anyways, when they first started out, they were sort of continuing the style that Deep Purple had been going in before they dissolved, which was more of a blues approach, more of a soul approach, more of a funk approach. But really, guys, Whitesnake, they were really their own separate thing from Deep Purple. And while the style of music may have been similar, there were definitely some differences, and I think the sound definitely had a lot of differences also. So if you really think of their first album as just the next Deep Purple album, you're going to be very, very disappointed. But anyways, even before that, some of those albums were really strong, like I said. And we had songs like The Time Is Right for Love. We had Take Me With You. We had Walking in the Shadow of the Blues. Long, Long Way From Home. Medicine Man. What else? Fool for Your Lovin'. Sweet Talker. Blind Man. Ain't Gonna Cry No More. Carry Your Load. What else? Come and Get It. Would I Lie to You? Till the Day I Die, which is an incredibly underrated song, by the way. I know it's more blues and folksy. It's really awesome. If you have not heard it, please do for whatever reason you haven't. We also had Don't Break My Heart Again. And then on the Saints and Sinner album, of course, we had Young Blood, Bloody Luxury, Rough and Ready. We had Crying in the Rain and Here I Go Again, which were later re-recorded and more of a heavy metal style as opposed to a blues rock style. Those early recordings are very significant and very noteworthy. But of course, guys, Slide It In is where the band really started to take off. And this was really the point where Whitesnake was really starting to unravel a bit. The classic lineup, I guess you could say, was David Coverdale on lead vocals, Bernie Marsden and Mickey Moody on lead guitar, Neil Murray on bass guitar, Ian Pace, formerly of Deep Purple, on drums, and then John Lord, formerly of Deep Purple, on the keyboards. Well, after the Saints and Sinner album, the band really started to, like I said, unwind, and a lot of members left. Bernie Marsden was out, Neil Murray was out, Ian Pace was out, and they were replaced by Mel Galley and Colin Hodgkinson and Cozy Powell. Yes, that Cozy Powell. And so Slide It In came out in 1984, and this right here is the UK mix, and the UK mix was not very well received. It still had kind of a bluesy, more of a bluesy rhythm to it, more of a bluesy style to it, and it sounded kind of flat. A lot like a lot of their previous recordings. But then, David Coverdale decided to re-record some of the guitar and bass. Mickey Moody was replaced by John Sykes, and Colin Hodgkinson was replaced by Neil Murray, who came back. And the US release is really where the band started to take off and really get some mainstream appeal. And they followed it up 3 years later with their self-titled album, just called Whitesnake. And guys, this album is amazing. I know some of these songs are very overplayed, such as Here I Go Again, the re-recording. Yes, that's the most famous version. Is This Love? I probably never really want to hear again, but guys, there is some great stuff on here. Crying in the Rain, another re-recording. It's awesome on, this version of it is awesome. Bad Boys is very rough, very raunchy, very snarling. Can't go wrong with that as well. Still of the Night, I voted the greatest Whitesnake song ever, and I still stand by that. Is the second half as good? No. But it's still very awesome. I mean, we have Children of the Night. We have Straight for the Heart. Don't Turn Away is not a bad closer. So yeah, that right there is Whitesnake. Now, unfortunately, after that, their following album, I was not all that impressed with, Slip of the Tongue. They went way too far in the glam direction, which was very popular at the time. And then after that, they went through such a revolving door of members, with David Coverdale really only being the consistent one. And I don't think they ever quite recaptured the glory of their glory days. But still, this is where it's at, and that was Whitesnake. So now we come to 19th place. And this is going to be the last time I talk about what I consider the big five of arena rock. And that is going to be a band that started out not really getting a whole lot of mainstream appeal, but really hit it big in the 80s. And they did have a revolving door of singers once again. And that, my friends, is REO Speedwagon. And as I just said, their first album came out in 1971. And it was very, very different from what they're most well known for. It was really more of a boogie rock album, and it was pretty awesome for what it was, okay? Terry Luttrell was the singer at the time, and I thought he did a fairly decent job. But of course, we had Gypsy's Woman Passion, we had Anti-Establishment Man, Sophisticated Lady, 157 Riverside Avenue, Dead at Last. Ooh, it's very psychedelic, you have to hear it. Then, of course, in 1972, Kevin Cronin became their lead vocalist, and he was on the REOTWO album, which is definitely one of their best albums ever, because it had Let Me Ride, How the Story Goes, Being Kind Can Hurt Someone Sometime, Music Man, Like You Do, and of course, the mighty Golden Country. Then Kevin Cronin left the band because he was missing too many rehearsals apparently and was replaced by Mike Murphy. And I thought he did a great job, all things considered, but I don't think he was quite as strong as Kevin. But Kevin came back in the year 1976, and after releasing a rather underwhelming album just called REO, they did release one of the greatest live albums ever. Live, you get what you play for. And this includes a lot of songs that may not have really hit it big. This was really before the band really hit it big and started getting a lot of radio play, but just look right here, okay? I mean, you can't go wrong with this stuff. Like You Do, Lay Me Down, Any Kind of Love, There's Being Kind Can Hurt Someone Sometimes. Keep Pushing is still played in concert today. There's also Son of a Poor Man, Flying Turkey Trot, Riding the Storm Out. The song got famous from this live album. The studio version is not very well known. And of course, Music Man, a cover of Chuck Berry's Little Queenie, and it closes out very well with Golden Country. This greatest hits right here kind of showcases their more mainstream material, and it really kind of goes into when the band really started to get a lot of radio play and become a band that a lot of people were familiar with. But of course, we have the love ballads, Keep On Loving You and Can't Fight This Feeling. I do not hate them. I do not. I think they're well-written songs. I think they're catchy. I will always maintain that. Are they a little too glossy? Sure, but they have their merits. Again, In Your Letters also from that era as well. I think it's catchy also. Don't Let 'Em Go has kind of a Bo Diddley riff, you know, don't, 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 don't. I like it also, okay? It is a fun sing-along song in concert, okay? It really is. Keep the Fires Burning is a little underwhelming, but man, Time for You to Fly and Roll with the Changes. They're both off the You Can Tune a Piano, but You Can't Tune a Fish album. They're great, okay? They are really great. I mean, I know they're overplayed and everything. I have not gotten tired of them yet. Very catchy, and they still had kind of the hard rock sound that I really like, and really before they kind of adopted more of a pop rock approach. But yes, REO Speedwagon, I have seen them many times in concert. Well, I've seen 3/5 of the classic REO Speedwagon many times in concert, because I didn't actually see them at all until 2008. Yeah, I know I'm kind of young here, but I really enjoy their concerts, and right now it's the Kevin Cronin solo band. It's unofficially been the Kevin Cronin solo band for quite a while, just now they're being honest with themselves, and it's still just as good. I saw them the other summer. So, 18th place is going to be a band that really hit it big in the 80s. And oftentimes they get lumped in with the whole glam scene, and I really don't see it. These guys are not glam. At least at first, they were not glam. The stuff that made them popular was not glam. They tried to latch on to glam later. That's a different story. But that is going to be an artist led by the one and only Dee Snider. And that's going to be Twisted Sister. And yes, these are their first 3 albums right there. released in 1982, 1983, and 1984, called Under the Blade. You Can't Stop Rock and Roll, and Stay Hungry. Yes, all of these albums are awesome, okay? It's got such a raw sound to it, such an underproduced yet really awesome sound to it. It's very ferocious, it's very heavy, and this is just pure heavy metal, guys, it is. Don't fall into the hair metal trap. I know they look kind of glammy right there, but really, guys, these albums are the furthest thing from glam. But yes, some of their latter albums in the 80s did start to get a little bit glammy. But yes, I do love What You Don't Know Sure Can't Hurt You. Same thing with Run For Your Life, Sin After Sin, Shoot 'Em Down, Destroyer. I do like Tear It Loose and Day of the Rocker. They followed it up very well the following year with You Can't Stop Rock and Roll, okay? I love The Kids Are Back. Like a Knife in the Back, guys, is so underrated. This thing is raw, ferocious, dark, and doomy. I so love Like a Knife in the Back. And I have reviewed this album before on Album Rant, so I'm not going to sing this one because I already did, but you just gotta hear it. It is just such balls to the wall, pure metal, and it's great. Ride to Live, Live to Ride is also awesome, okay? I Am, I'm Me is one of the more upbeat songs from this album, but still very solid. Now, after this, I think the album does kind of go down a little bit, but it's still very, very high, okay? Love the Power and the Glory. We're gonna Make It is very fast. Ooh, I've Had Enough is okay. I'll Take You Alive is okay. You're Not Alone, Suzette's song is probably the weakest one on here. I guess this is the closest thing this album considers a ballad, but, you know, it's still pretty raw and everything. But yeah, we have the mighty anthemic You Can't Stop Rock and Roll, closing it all out. And then, of course, guys, they hit it very big in 1984 with Stay Hungry, okay? I was never too much of a fan of the title track, but of course we have We're Not Gonna Take It. No, we ain't gonna take it. And yeah, you know this song, guys. Yeah, it's catchy. I still like it. I really do. Even though it's kind of overplayed, I love it. You're Gonna Burn in Hell is very dark and demonic and doomy. Love it. Same thing with Horror Tierra, or Teria. Is that how you say that? Captain Howdy and Street Justice, a two-parter. Still very, very ferocious and raw and awesome everything. Then we have I Wanna Rock, dun 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 dun. Another anthem that was highly played on MTV and the radio today. You've probably heard it. The Price, I've never been too big of a fan of. Don't Let Me Down is a little underwhelming, but it closes out very well with The Beast and SMF. I'm sure you know what that means. Yeah. The Beast is dark and, again, very doomy. I love it. Same thing with SMF. Twisted Sister, okay? Some people may hate them out there. I don't. Twisted Sister is awesome. So, 17th place is going to be an artist that formed out of the remains of Black Sabbath. He was once in Black Sabbath and then kind of had a falling out with some of the other members, so he then went to pursue his own solo career. And I've also talked about him on Album Rant, and well, that is Dio. Led by Ronnie James Dio, who went through a variety of bands before he got to this point. He was first in Elf, then he was in Rainbow, then he was in Black Sabbath, and he finally found himself in a solo career. And I'm really glad he did, because these first three albums had a lot of his best material on it. This right here is Holy Diver, which is often considered to be his best album. Do I fully agree with that? Probably not. I think The Last in Line I would rather listen to, but this one is still very, very epic in scope. Stand Up and Shout, love it. The title track, The Gypsy. Caught in the Middle, maybe a little disposable, as is Don't Talk to Strangers, but I do like Straight Through the Heart. Invisible is a song I didn't really like all that much at first, but started to grow on me. Rainbow in the Dark is probably his attempt at getting a big hit, and it kind of works, okay? It's catchy at least. Then it concludes with Shame on the Night. Last in Line, okay? Can't go wrong with this one. We Rock, I love the title track. Breathless and I Speed at Night are, again, very fast and very ferocious. Love that one. One Night in the City, maybe him, again, trying to get a big hit out of this record. It's pretty decent. I do like Evil Eyes, but Mystery is kind of the Rainbow in the Dark counterpart to this album, and it may work for some people, it may not. I do enjoy Eat Your Heart Out, but Egypt the Chains Are On, it's clearly trying to be epic and biblical in scope, and I appreciate that, but I wish it went further. It doesn't quite grip me the way, let's say, Gates of Babylon does. I have heard a lot of people trash this album, Sacred Heart. I don't see it, guys. I love, unapologetically, Sacred Heart. I really do. Love King of Rock and Roll. Very fast opener, very anthemic, very catchy. Sacred Heart, the title track, guys. It is just as good as his stuff with Rainbow, I'm telling you. If you have not heard the title track for whatever reason, hear it. It's very fantasy-based. It's very epic in scope. It's very magical and mystical. And that is what I want from Dio. I do like Another Lie and Rock and Roll Children. Hungry for Heaven is the big anthem from this album. I think it was on the Vision Quest soundtrack, and that's really where it originated from. I've heard some people trash it once again. I also don't see it. I love Hungry for Heaven. Now, the last couple of songs may start to dwindle a bit, but yeah, they're not bad, however. Like The Beat of a Heart is decent, Just Another Day, Fallen Angels, and Shoot Shoot. Now, are they as good as the first half? I wouldn't say so. However, they're still good songs and everything, just not quite as powerful as the ones that came before it. Now, guys, does Dio stop here? Absolutely not. He had some great albums after Sacred Heart, such as Dream Evil, Lock Up the Wolves, Strange Highways, Angry Machines, Magica, Master of the Moon. I think I'm forgetting one. I'll think of it later. But yes, guys, Dio's solo career is amazing. He's without Tony Iommi or Richie Blackmore, but he did surround himself with some great guitarists, and so, yeah, really love it. So, number 16 is going to come next, and I kind of cheated on this one. I kind of took two different artists and combined them together, and the reason I did that is I really see them as one and the same. They really only, well, the first, we had a band, and a couple of the members left, but most of them stayed, and then they changed the band's name to reflect the lead singer, who was clearly the star at the time. And so their musical approach didn't really change. They only lost two members. They only swapped out two members. And so for that, I am kind of considering these two artists the same. I'm going to stop rambling, but that is Merciful Fate and King Diamond. Let me zoom out. There we go, okay? And these are the four big albums, at least from the 80s, that I can point to. And like I said, I really just consider these two artists to be the same. They are both helmed by King Diamond. They both have had several other members who are in both bands, like Michael Denner and Snowy Shaw and who else? Timmy Hansen and Mike Weed. So a lot of the members really do overlap with both bands, with both acts, so I'm meshing them together. The early days, the Merciful Fate days. This stuff was absolutely crazy. Now, they've often been called black metal, and I can see that. And at first, I really did think they were black metal. They may not be. They're musically, they're really a lot closer to traditional heavy metal, something you might find out of the new wave of British heavy metal, even though these guys were Danish. Musically, they sound like a traditional heavy metal band, but it's the lyrics and the atmosphere and the mood and the themes that kind of push them towards black metal. But no matter what, these guys were very influential to black metal, and these lyrics are just so incredibly messed up. What is it? And when you're down beyond the ground, I'll dig up your body and make love to shame. Oh my God. Craniums high on stakes. It's Satan's epigraph. Something you can't erase. 666. Then one time he just comes right out and say it. I deny Jesus Christ the deceiver and hold in contempt all of his works. Jeez. Taking a bit far there, but yeah. The singer, guys, King Diamond may be a turnoff for some people because he goes from a growl straight to a very ear-piercing falsetto. And I'll admit, it was a turnoff for me, at least at first. It has really grown on me, and I really love it. But yeah, evil, curse of the pharaohs, into the coven. Come, into my coven, yeah, and become Lucifer's child. Great song. I love Black Funeral, and of course, the mighty Satan's Fall. Multi-part, many riffs in there. It's so eerie and progressive. I love it. He also they followed it up the following year with Don't Break the Oath. And this would be the last Merciful Fate album for a while, but the sound on this one, I really think tops Melissa. It sounds very neoclassical, but it also sounds evil. While the music on Melissa didn't really sound evil, it's just the lyrics. Don't Break the Oath just goes all out and just kind of completes the puzzle, I guess you could say. Love a Dangerous Meeting and Nightmare. Desecration of Souls is pretty catchy. The Oath, he just comes right out and pledges his devotion to Satan. Gypsy's a pretty good rocker. Welcome Princes of Hell is okay, but the closer, Come to the Sabbath, is really awesome. But then, of course, after that, the lead guitarist and drummer left, and they were replaced by Andy LaRocque and Mickey D. And so, like I said, after that, the band kind of became the King Diamond solo band, and that's why I really consider them to be one and the same. But Fatal Portrait came out in 1986. Now, the main difference between King Diamond and Merciful Fate is King Diamond, the albums were concept albums, and they told a ghost story, while Merciful Fate was mostly about Satan. But yes, the Candle, the Jonah, the Portrait, Dressed in White, and Haunted all form a little mini-story, while Charon, Lurking in the Dark, Halloween, and Voices from the Past are kind of their own little separate thing. But I mean, guys, this music is still dark. It is still demonic. It is still eerie and scary. I love it. But then, of course, guys, Abigail came out the next year, and this may have been King Diamond's big magnum opus. This was the very first time that the entire album told a complete story. And I have reviewed this before on Album Rant. But I mean, Funeral is a great opener. It's just a little skit, but man, it's messed up. Then we have Arrival, A Mansion in Darkness. The sound on this album reminds me a lot of that of Don't Break the Oath. Again, very heavy but neoclassical at the same time. I also love The Family Ghosts and Deadly Omens. The title track is great, and The Black Horseman closes out so well. So yeah, King Diamond and Merciful Fate was number 16. So now comes 15th place. And this is going to be another artist who formed a solo career after being given the boot from Black Sabbath. And that, guys, is going to be the late Ozzy Osbourne. And I've chosen to showcase these three right here. These are the three albums he did with Randy Rhoads. First one was Blizzard of Oz, released in 1980. He had a great lineup on this. It was him on lead vocals, Randy Rhoads on lead guitar, may he also rest in peace, Lee Kerslake on the drums, and may he also rest in peace, and then Bob Daisley on the bass. And the sound has just such a needle-like quality to it. I love it, okay? Randy was a guitar genius, and it's really a shame he left us. But I Don't Know is a great opener, very fast, very heavy. Crazy Train, yeah, we've all heard it. We have Goodbye to Romance, pretty good ballad. Suicide Solution, Mr. Crowley, which is very occult-like and very demonic-like. I do love that one. No Bone Movies was kind of disposable, but man, Revelation Mother Earth, I did not like that one at first. I thought it was too soft and too quiet, but it's really started to grow on me throughout the years. And of course, it ends very well, Steal Away the Night. But I may prefer Diary of a Madman. Okay, yeah, I think I do, guys, okay? Right here, Over the Mountain, great opener. I love Flying High Again. You Can't Kill Rock and Roll is another needle-like ballad, kind of like Revelation Mother Earth. it really hits the spot, I guess, or it really hits the mood. Believer's pretty decent, nice bass work on it. I do like Little Dolls, and I love SATO, but man, the title track. Dark, eerie, insane, everything I want, okay? Diary of a Madman. I'm sure you've already heard it. And of course, guys, tribute. I did review this recently as a tribute to Ozzy and Randy. It is a great live album. I kind of wish he released it shortly after Randy's death. It kind of made it seem like he was trying to profit off of Randy's tragic passing, but I'm not sure if I buy that. I think he really was paying tribute to his fallen friend, and no matter what, it is great music. These are great live versions. It's all songs from Diary of a Madman and Blizzard of Oz with some Black Sabbath covers thrown in there with Iron Man, Children of the Grave, and Paranoid. It is a great live album and a definite recommendation. Okay, 14th place. This is an artist that I guess is to the 80s what Aerosmith was to the 70s and the Rolling Stones were to the 60s, and that is Guns N' Roses. Right there. And I reviewed Appetite for Destruction before on Album Rant. This is a great debut album, okay? I know some people out there may not like Guns N' Roses, and that is fine. They definitely, if they weren't glam, they were definitely teetering on it, but I love it all the same. Appetite for Destruction is a very ferocious debut album. Love the sound, love the rhythm, love the songwriting. I love everything about it. Welcome to the Jungle, yeah, it's overplayed. I do like It's So Easy and Night Train, Out to Get Me, no. Very ferocious opener. Mr. Brownstone is again continuing the whole Bo Diddy thing. I really love it. Paradise City, overplayed, I don't care. Love My Michelle. Kind of sick of Sweet Child of Mine, but Rocket Queen is a great way to close the album. They really had a very difficult second album. They really did. They came out with Use Your Illusion 4 years later, and it was broken up into 2 parts because they had so much music. They just released 2 albums on the same day. Fair enough, but the thing is this, guys, I think there's a substantial amount of filler on here. I mean, Right Next Door to Hell is okay. I do like Dust and Bones. Pretty good cover of Live and Let Die. Don't Cry is a pretty disposable ballad. Perfect Crime, it's all right. I'm not a big fan of You Ain't the First. I do like Bad Obsession. Back Off Bitch doesn't really quite hit it for me. I like Double Talk and Jive. November Rain. I know it got them a lot of attention. I know it got them a hit music video. I guess if I asked the band to take it off the album, they wouldn't, but I kind of wish they did. But yeah, guys, The Garden, Garden of Eden, Don't Damn Me, Bad Apples, and Dead Horse are very disposable. But Coma is a nice 10-minute closer. Love it, okay? The second Use Your Illusion fares a little bit better. We still have some filler on there. 14 Years I could have done without. Same thing with Get in the Ring and Shotgun Blues. Pretty Tied Up is pretty hilarious. I do like Locomotive. I'm not a big fan of So Fine, but some people out there like it. I do kind of like Estranged. It's kind of the counterpart to November Rain, but something about this one just works better for me. Love You Could Be Mine. I do not need another version of Don't Cry. I don't think I even need one version. And My World is pretty ridiculous. But guys, also Civil War, the opener, it's explosive, okay? It is powerful, it is heavy, and that is a great Guns N' Roses song, okay? And it all starts with that line from Cool Hand Luke. What we got here is failure to communicate. Some men you just can't read. So we get what we had here last week, which is the way he wants it. Well, he gets it. I don't like it any more than he may. And I did that from memory. I may have botched that a little bit, but I did my best there. All right, so that was what was that? That was 14th place. 13th place is going to be an artist that I have talked about on this channel quite a lot. Okay, this was actually back in the Snapchat days. This was the very first artist I ever reviewed. And the entire band in principle is all based off a sexual innuendo, but that is German hard rock metal artist, The Scorpions. And I highlighted two greatest hits because they both showcase two different eras of the band. This one really showcases the early days. The days back when they had Michael Schenker and Uli John Roth in the band, and they were absolutely insane. Some of these lyrics were crazy. A lot of this music was crazy. It was raw, it was aggressive, it just blew me out of the water, okay? Now, the first album, Lonesome Crow, is not featured on this greatest hits because they were with a different record label, but I mean, I'm Going Mad was great. In Search of the Peace of Mind, the title track, It All Depends, I love all of them. Fly the Rainbow came next, and Speedy's Coming was on Fly the Rainbow. There was also They Need a Million, Drifting Sun, the title track. In Trance was next, and out of those early records, that's probably my least favorite, but you can't go wrong with Dark Lady, or Robot Man, or the title track. There's also, what else is there? Top of the Bill, and Living and Dying. Great songs. Virgin Killer was next, and I have reviewed that before, and I love Virgin Killer. Picture Life, Catch Your Train, Backstage Queen, the title track, Hellcat, Polar Nights, amazing. But then in the late 70s, early 80s, they really hit it big. Uli John Roth was out of the band, replaced with Matthias Jabs. Did I say that right? I don't know, but he was in, and they really kind of streamlined their approach and wrote more radio-accessible music. And yes, we all know it. They had their big hit, Rock You Like a Hurricane. Also, No One Like You. And those are the two big hits from this era, okay? Loving You Sunday Morning I do like. I love The Zoo. That was off Animal Magnetism, and I have reviewed that album before a very long time ago. But you need to hear the title track from that album. It is amazing, okay? Blackout, they started to become more of a straight, full-fledged rock and roll band. But then by the time Love at First Sting came out, they were starting to get a little glammy. They didn't fully go there with Love at First Sting, but they were teetering. But that's what Rock You Like a Hurricane, Big City Nights, and Still Loving You were off of. Still Loving You is a good ballad. But yes, unfortunately, after that, Savage Amusement came next. We had Believe in Love and Rhythm of Love and some other songs. It was a Def Leppard Hysteria wannabe. It did not sound authentic. It did not sound legitimate. It was too glossy. The lyrics were too stupid and trying way too hard to be romantic. Too many ballads. The hard edge, the punch that they had was just gone. I really do not like Savage Amusement. I'm not too crazy about Crazy World either, but it does have some high points. I don't mind Tease Me, Please Me. I don't mind To Be With You in Heaven. I don't mind the title track. Wind of Change, I am kind of sick of. Don't Believe Her is kind of dumb. Hit Between the Eyes is all right. Simeon Angel is kind of out there. Like, they have no other song that's like that. I found it a very odd addition to the album, but whatever. I mean, it was one of their biggest hits from the album, so I guess they got what they wanted. But yes, after that, I really don't have much of a need to listen to anything past that, and I haven't really, so it's probably going to stay that way for a while. All right. So that was the Scorpions. 12th place, probably the godfather of shock rock. He has been putting out albums consistently since 1969. And just last year, he released his 30th album ever, entitled The Revenge of Alice Cooper by Alice Cooper. And yeah, I'm really going to focus a lot on his early 70s work because that is really where most of his success came from. But yeah, I'm 18 and Isn't My Body from the Love It to Death album. Great. Also check out Black Juju and his cover, or their cover, of Sunrise. Killer came next. That had Desperado, Under My Wheels, Be My Lover, also Halo of Flies, Dead Babies, the title track, Love Killer. School's Out was next. That has School's Out for Summer. Also Looney Tooney, Gutter Cat vs. the Jets. Love it. Blue Turk, Grand Finale, kind of a concept album. Billion Dollar Babies was their next one, and that had Hello Hooray, Generation Landslide, the hit No More Mr. Nice Guy, and the title track, and what am I missing? I'm missing something. Nah, it's okay, I'll think of it. But yeah, great album. Also check out Unfinished Sweet, and I Love the Dead. Muscle of Love was a little underwhelming, but we had Muscle of Love and Teenage Lament 74 on it. That's a great song. So It's Never Been Sold Before, and Woman Machine. But then after that, the main lineup kind of broke up, and Alice went on his own solo career. But man, Welcome to My Nightmare. Amazing, phenomenal concept album. Devil's Food, The Black Widow, Only Women Bleed, kind of a sweet kind of ballad. It's great. I love Department of Youth. And man, Escape, the album closer, is amazing. However, guys, unfortunately, the late 70s and early 80s were not kind to Alice at all. I am not a fan of those albums, and he was so far under the influence, he barely has any recollection of them. But he did come back in the late 80s. Raise Your Fist and Yell came out in 1987. I really love that album. I will be talking about it soon at some point. But also Trash had the big hit Poison. Then of course we have Hey, 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 Stupid. And yes, so he really kind of latched on the whole glam Guns N' Roses, Motley Crue, Bon Jovi scene. But it totally worked, guys. It really did. And like I said, he's been putting out albums consistently ever since then. I think the longest gap between any of his albums was 6 years. And considering how old he's gotten, that's very impressive. But guys, hear The Revenge of Alice Cooper. It came out last year. It's good. So we're going to round it out right now with 11th place. I have gotten so much flack for talking about these guys on this channel. I don't really care, guys. You probably guessed it's Motley Crue, okay? They originated in the early 80s with their debut album, Too Fast for Love. I love Too Fast for Love. Shout the Devil came next, and that was a great heavy metal album. Now we had the title track, Looks That Kill, Bastard, Helter Skelter, a cover. What else? 10 Seconds to Love, Too Young to Fall in Love, Danger, all great songs. All right, guys, Theater of Pain was my most infamous episode of Album Rant ever, but I don't care. I really don't think it's a bad album, okay? I don't like Home Sweet Home, but I do like City Boy Blues, their cover of Smoking in the Boys' Room. We also had Louder Than Hell, Tonight We Need a Lover, Tonight, Fight, Fight for Your Rights. Girls, 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 I also kind of enjoyed, but that one was kind of teetering towards the glam direction, but Wild Side is great. Title track is kind of fun. All in the Name of is good. Bad Boy Boogie, love Bad Boy Boogie. And then, yes, their big one was Dr. Feelgood, which came out in 1989. That had Kickstart My Heart. It had the title track, Dr. Feelgood. It's the same old situation. I like it. Don't Go Away Mad, Just Go Away. Pretty good ballad. I'm not a big fan of Without You, though. I'm really not. But, yeah, I mean, I don't mind Dr. Feelgood either. This right here is a greatest hits, guys, and I didn't showcase any of their albums. I just did the greatest hits, but this was really my introduction to Motley Crue, so, yeah, that's where it all began. And I've been into them ever since high school. So anyways, guys, that was spots 20 through 11. So I'm going to recap one more time. We had 50th place, Sabotage. 49, Angel Witch. 48, Bon Jovi. 47, Foreigner. 46, Triumph. 45, Lucifer's Friend. 44, Manowar. 43, Raven. 42, Poison. 41, The Who. 40, Sammy Hagar's solo career. 39, Ted Nugent. 38, Journey. 37, The Rolling Stones. 36, The Vinnie Vincent Invasion. 35, Motorhead. 34, Yes. 33, Diamond Head. 32, UFO. 31, Megadeth. 30, Budgie. 29, Uriah Heep. 28, Styx. 27, Quiet Riot. 26, Rainbow. 25, Queen. 24, Pink Floyd. 23, Def Leppard. 22, Blue Oyster Cult. 21, Aerosmith. And this is what we covered tonight. 20, Whitesnake. 19, REO Speedwagon. 18, Twisted Sister. 17, Dio. 16, King Diamond, Merciful Fate, Hybrid. 15, Ozzy Osbourne. 14, Guns N' Roses. 13, The Scorpions. 12, Alice Cooper. 11, Motley Crue. Anyways, guys, next time we are going to take a look at an artist really crank up the power. But until then, have a very pleasant evening.